You're listening to The Fellas with Anthony McCoy,
Listen, man, that wasn't my fault. It was an unknown error.
Rich Thurston,
Someone said it was like the Bulls never changed their passwords, and Tibbs just popped in and did an auto trade.
Kev Lund,
We're out here doing this podcast, and these fools are out here blowing Super Bowls. Like, let's switch that up. Pay me a cool million, and I'll call the right place. I promise you.
and Kyle Straub.
When one of those point guards is James Harden, yes, the answer is yes, they are a better team.
Happy Labor Day. Hope everybody enjoyed the weekend. Hope you got to enjoy that extra day for the 3-day weekend. Thanks for joining us, Kyle Straub, joined by the fellas. And football is back. I know that I'm excited. Everybody else here in this podcast pretty excited. So we're going to start the top of the show off right there with NCAA football. The big matchup, we talked about it last week, possible national championship preview. Number 1, Alabama. Number 3, Florida State.
Roll Tide.
It was not a national championship preview at all. Bama came out and Bama 24-7. They beat Florida State. And to make matters worse for Florida State, their season pretty much done, guys, with Francois, their quarterback, going down. Do you see any chance, Kev, for Florida State to be able to rebound from this and not even just get to contention for that playoff, but even win the Atlantic in the ACC now?
Nah, man. I mean, it was slim pickings before that game, and you know what I mean. Now they lose their starting quarterback. Bama went in there and blocked punts, blocked field goals, returned kicks, and now Florida State's going to be starting a true freshman, and there's a lot of other talent in their division. So I'm going no. It's going to be a long season for FSU.
Yeah, that's really heartbreaking. If you're a Seminole fan, you go from game 1, we can make a statement and beat Bama, maybe win a national championship, and then 3 quarters into it, your season is gone because of a patella tendon.
Quick.
Yeah, not the way you want your season to end like that if you're a fan.
All those
Tomahawk
summer
choppers over
practices
early
and all
this
that.
year.
Yeah. But that's football,
So
man, and that's why when we brought up that top 25 last week or the week before,
Yep,
and
yep,
we
last
said
week.
it's going to not look like this at the end of it. I mean, it's not going to look like that next week, man. It gets jumbled
Yeah,
up
when
so
it comes
quick.
out. Yeah, when it comes out, Florida State probably won't even be in the top 10 at this point just because you don't have a quarterback and you just got whooped up on by Bama.
Yeah, they said they would drop him to 5 with a healthy Francois, and now with no healthy starting quarterback, top 5, get out of here.
Yeah. There was another big game that was out there. I don't think it was big on the radar of many people, at least not on this coast. UCLA, Texas A&M. I didn't get a chance to see it because I'm not staying up that late to watch a freaking football game. But, Kev, you got to see it, and it was a hell of a game. 34-point comeback for the Bruins.
Yeah, man, I was flipping between that and watching my Yanks put the beat down on Beantown. So I saw it as 41-10. It was I think right going into the third quarter, and that was the last of the 3 quarterbacks that I was really paying attention to over the weekend. So I had to watch. And I didn't think we were going to get a touchdown from the top 3 prospects all weekend. And then this guy leads them back from 41-10, throws for 491 yards, 4 touchdowns, and leads back a crazy comeback. And he spiked it off with the fake spike from Danny Marino, man, but he went to the opposite side of the field for the game winner in the corner.
Yeah, McCoy, I know I asked you this already off air, and you didn't get to see that game. But, Rich, did you get a chance to see either of those two?
I saw 0 college football.
Well, the UCLA game was it was essentially the Super Bowl, but a bigger deficit. The way that the Patriots came back against the Falcons, except this one was 34 points, and I think there was just over 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was eerily similar. Like when they started their comeback, it was the same exact time as the Pats on the clock when they started their comeback.
If you're a team in the SEC and you go out and you see Alabama do what they do to Florida State, and then you go out and you drop a deuce on the field like Texas A&M does that start putting their coach on the hot seat right away during the season?
He was on it coming in, dude, and they had I forget the name of their running back off the top of my head, but he was killing it. He had like 168 yards or something like that. And he was balling out, and he was celebrating like crazy, and they all got way ahead of themselves. I think I think the travel caught up to them, and I think the SEC caught up to them, man. I think they were a little overhyped.
You know what other game that reminds me of was, you guys will remember this too, Jeremy Shockey in the playoffs against the 49ers. When he pointed to the scoreboard and they had a big lead and that lead went bye-bye on them.
Good.
Yeah, man. Sports
glad.
is crazy, man.
I'm glad if Shockey was talking trash that happened afterwards.
Do you remember that, what I'm talking
Yeah,
about, McCoy? Got in the end zone and pointed up, and that was the end of the game for them.
That's what he gets.
Yeah.
Speaking of Shockey and the U, they looked like they were pretty good this week. Obviously, not playing a very stout team in Bethune-Cookman, but they took care of the business that they need to, put up the points, and put a mollywhopping on them. My favorite part was, I don't know which one of you guys sent it in the
I
group
sent
chat, but
That was the
They
most
put
amazing
on-
thing of the weekend.
the big chain, the big gold chain with the U in the middle, and the coach put it on his neck as he came to the sidelines. That's the shit I want to see some more of.
That's awesome.
Straub, I sent that specifically to you because you were referencing if they got to get back to that, and we were
Yep,
wondering
that-
how far they could push the limits, and I didn't see anything else from that game but that, and that's all I needed to see.
That's all
You
you
don't
need.
need to see anything else. See the
That-
score
that
and
was
just
a
see that
brolic-
highlight.
That was a brolic ass chain he had on, man. That made Mr. T was jealous of that gold ass chain.
You got a pick, right?
I don't even know what he did. I just saw the part of him coming off the
listened-
sideline, and that was all I cared about.
I think in the audio they said he got a pick, and then he got the interception chain.
So that's going to be passed around all season
Yo.
long.
I can only hope.
So that's
That'll
like
leave the nation.
that's what
That
Bama
shit was
does.
orange and green too.
Yeah, Bama does that with like the turnover belt they have. So it's
Yeah,
like
but
the
they don't
same
do
idea.
it like that.
Oh,
Yeah, like nobody has that
there's
chain.
only one that you.
So
Yeah.
So my first thought when I saw that chain was, that better not be real. 2, okay, it can't be real because it's so big. 3, it's the U. It might be real.
That'd be real. That'd be dope.
Better be real.
We're styling out here with the heavy ass chain.
Yeah, you can't be out there. That's too fragile for it not to be real, man. It's gonna last all season long. They're gonna be picking everybody off.
Yo, that made me so happy to see.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was pumped. I had to send it immediately.
That's funny.
All right, Kev. So the finish off here with college football, and then we'll move on to the NFL stuff. We got to talk about the quarterback watch you got going on here. Give us the numbers and your breakdown on how good, or I guess this week how bad they looked.
Well, so we went over Rosen. I mean, he was top flight. He separated himself from the pack. Like I said, going in, I didn't know if we were going to get a touchdown from any of them. The Jets have that number 1 pick hopefully this year, and of course the top 3 were looking shaky. But
They
the
tank it on
chosen Rosen
Looking
backs
real
it up. Yeah, already. So the big guy, Sam Darnold, the one that everybody is loving, he was 23 of 33, 289 yards, no touchdowns.
That's the kid out of USC.
Yeah, no touchdowns, 2 picks, and he played Western Michigan.
They won, I take it so.
Ooh, the Chippewas getting at him.
Yeah, USC's running game was ridiculous. They got a stellar running back. I don't have his name handy right now.
Well,
But,
it's week 1, so at least they got a warm-up game like that instead of being like Florida State and having to play Bama, you know?
yeah,
That's why you
but,
schedule those
West-
crappy teams.
Western Michigan came out like that was their bowl game and shut Darnold down, dude. And then the guy up in Wyoming, they played Iowa, and he went 23 of 40, 174 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, and got hurt. And he had the worst showing of them all. And coming in, they compared him to Brett Favre, so I'm not really too excited to have him on my team to start with anyway, because that's not who I want my starting quarterback to be compared with. How about you, Straub?
No, not at all. We already saw Brett Favre in New York once. I don't need that again.
So did that massage lady.
And then
Dick pics for you guys, huh?
and then just two wild card QBs that were out there that were in the top 10 to start the season.
Hall of Famers sending dick pics.
Yeah.
That's fine, baby. Check out number 4.
The biggest one. you
All
ever
full.
sent.
All 4.
Give it to her for 20.
So Oklahoma's quarterback Baker Mayfield went 19 of 20 for 329 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half, he sat the second half. And then McCoy's boy McSorley on Penn State.
McSorley.
That's Rich's boy.
280 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and then he had 48 yards rushing and 1 touchdown, so he was all over the place. And they
Anybody
won like
on Penn
56
State
to
is
nothing.
Rich's boy,
on the,
man,
on
not
the
mine.
Zippers.
The
On the Zippers. They
Zippers.
locked the Zippers down. Me and McCoy were talking about that over the weekend. They didn't come through at all. So
They let me down. I didn't even get to watch. I actually put that game on before the UNC game started. And I think it was 24-0. Real quick, I was like, yeah, I'm good. Then I tried to watch your boy Surratt on UNC.
your boy.
Your boy, our boy.
Jazz.
I'll tell you what.
Jazz.
I'll tell you what. A lot of people aren't going to know anything about anybody on North Carolina. Surratt wasn't supposed to play until next season because they thought Trubisky would still be here. He didn't look horrible. I actually thought he moved the offense better than Brandon Harris, who is a god-awful quarterback. Holy crap, they shouldn't have signed him.
Yeah, he's trash. God.
Terrible. He couple interceptions. Just overthrew wide open receivers. He was just bad. So hopefully Surratt will actually stay in, and we can mess up again, Kev, because we could have gotten Mitch Trubisky. Maybe Surratt will be Mitch Trubisky 2.0.
That's a great name for a Jets quarterback. Surratt.
But see, the problem
Yeah,
with that, the problem with that though is if you're betting on that move, then whoever you pick this year is going to be trash. So you'll be right
I
back
fully
in the
intend on
picture.
that happening. I mean, do you expect the Jets to go out and pick some Hall of Fame quarterback?
Out of these 3, they're making the wrong decision. I promise you that.
So there was actually one other quarterback I wanted to throw out there. He's not somebody that's going to get drafted, but did you guys hear about Cam Newton's younger brother, Kalen?
I did. I heard a little bit about him.
So he's a true freshman starting for Howard University, and his team took on
Yes.
UNLV.
Yes.
They
now.
were 45-point road underdogs, and they beat them 43-40. It's the biggest deficit that there was ever won with a spread that big. So
Straub.
I guess it runs in the family.
Straub, UNLV paid Howard $600,000 to come play them too.
come beat them.
And caught
Just
them
'cause-
open.
Because they wanted Cam Newton's brother's
Yeah,
name out there.
Exactly.
They wish they didn't call for
Yeah.
that.
And he put it on him.
Paid 600 G's, man, to take
to
that one.
beat them.
You were
That
supposed to
sucks.
beat him by 45.
Nope.
All right, so we're going to transition into the NFL. Enough with the college stuff. But we're not going to get into good quarterback play first. We're going to start off with Brock Osweiler. This dude gets a huge contract last year from the Houston Texans. He is terrible. They somehow are able to trade him to Cleveland. I still don't quite understand how the hell that trade worked out for Cleveland the way it did. But then the Browns go and cut this dude. So Brock Osweiler went out and played in a whopping 15 games, threw for under 3,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions, and he made $37 million. But wait, it gets better, because then the Broncos go and re-sign this dude when he becomes a free agent. There's another $775,000 to throw on top. This cat is going to make $68 million between 2 seasons. Is this the worst contract ever in NFL history?
I don't know, but I know he's my idol.
Yeah, word.
I would grow up to be Brock Osweiler any day of the year.
Every time I'll take that.
Every
I
single
mean,
time.
Yeah, you're on the sideline and you're getting paid, and you're getting paid a lot of money apparently to do it.
There's a vine of him on Denver where, like, there must have been a turnover or something. And he takes his baseball cap off, runs back to the bench. Like, he's like, yeah, all right, we're ready to go. And then he turns around to see Peyton Manning's going in the game. He just puts his hands up.
I imagine that's what it was like in the locker room before the Super Bowl when he thought he was going to get the start, and then here comes Peyton, and the coach was like, nope, sorry. Go sit down, Brock.
Yeah, we want to win this game. Like, they can't expect him to be good at this point, so he's really just making money for what reason, you know?
But the thing
But,
about
like-
it that's awesome is that Payton wasn't good either.
No, Peyton was garbage. that
No,
year.
Peyton was terrible at that point. But that's what I was just about to ask. Peyton was so bad he couldn't throw the ball further than Chad Pennington could at his peak. Yet they still put him in over Brock Osweiler.
Yep.
Why did he get such a huge contract? What did he do that teams were like, oh,
Back,
well, I guess not teams, but the Texans were like, we need to sign this dude to a 4-year, $72 million contract.
backup quarterback's
He's a-
the best job in sports, man. You can.
Easily.
Yeah,
it's
but
the only
but
position
he
in
didn't
sports you can be consistently trash at. and still get paid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true, but that big of a contract is just flabbergasting to me if he's this bad.
Yeah.
He's a capable quarterback, man. I mean, that's where it's at. That's what they thought anyway, going into that. And
I was about to say, did you watch him? He wasn't capable
no,
of
he's-
anything except for sucking.
there was no. I think he's terrible, but going in, he coming off that playoff experience, they thought, hey, we'll give him a shot. I mean, Fitzpatrick, got like 12, 14 million. I mean, he was getting 18 million a year. It's not too far off from like Sam Bradford's of the world. So they got out of it. That's what good quarterback. Imagine if you're a good man, you make like 25 mil. So you take a shot on a quarterback because if it works, it's so worth the result. I mean, the risk.
Well,
reward.
so kind of a combination of what you and Rich said. I went and looked at some of the worst contracts that have been signed, and 3 of them, not counting this Osweiler one in the top 5, were all quarterbacks. Jamarcus Russell, everybody can remember that dude. 3 years, $39 million. It was all guaranteed because it was before the collective
they
bargaining.
didn't have a choice on that one though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Jay Cutler with the Bears. They signed that dude to a 7-year,
Yeah.
$126 million contract. $54 million was guaranteed for him. That's not good. That's just stupid. And then the Matt Flynn contract when he had that one game at the end of the year with Green Bay, and Seattle went and threw $26 million at him for 3 years. So there's at least a rookie and then
What a-
2 backups that are getting all that money.
Yeah, I threw out in the
What
chat
about Albert
over
Hainsworth?
the weekend. Oh yeah, that's
I just
number
wrote
one.
down. Yeah, I just wrote down what the quarterback ones were. There were some other guys on there that had some terrible contracts too, and he was one that I kept seeing come up on those lists.
Yeah, he's number 1 on ESPN's for worst.
Yeah, what did he
NFL.
play? Like he only played 2 years with Washington after he signed like
Something
$100 million
$100
deal.
million.
He failed the conditioning test going
Yeah.
in after that. dude.
Because he got that money guaranteed. He didn't care. He was out there stepping on dudes' heads.
Yeah, he got like half of it guaranteed. So I guess at that point, whatever. But he
Yeah,
got to
it
ruin.
was-
People like him got to ruin it for the rest of the football players, though. Like this is why these dudes don't get guaranteed contracts.
Yeah, that's a great point. It really is because you get some assholes like that get the guaranteed money and then they stop
I
trying.
ain't playing football either. I'll sit on the bench and collect my 50 mil. That's why
Yeah,
backup
Jake
quarterback's
won.
the job because you ain't never gonna get hit.
Jay Cutler always throws me for a loop because I think we can all agree Jay Cutler is a lot better than Matt Flynn
Yeah.
and Brock Osweiler.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like Jay Cutler is so good but so not good all at the same time.
I don't think he cares either. Like
it's
he's
like-
just like I'm paid.
No, he definitely does not care.
Well, he obviously doesn't care. Have you ever seen a picture of that man's face at any time ever?
Yo, they said on Dan Le Batard's show, they said he was at it like it was when he was in college. He was about to like go to the NFL. He was in a bar, taking a piss, and someone walked up to him and was like, "Oh, Jay Cutler, thank you for everything you do to Vanderbilt. I remember when you did this, 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 this." And he leaned his head back and yelled, "Don't care." Like he just doesn't give a fuck. And like
And
part of me,
that-
part of that makes me like him.
Yeah, word.
Like because he just is who he is. Like I don't. He said in his press conference with the Dolphins that he likes being a quarterback because he doesn't have to be in shape.
Yep, I saw
Yeah.
that too.
All right.
in his
Like, he
ratty
never
ass
tries to hide
polo.
it. Yeah. at
See,
least
but at
he's
the
not
same
out there-
time, like that's cool that he's just chilling. He is who he is, but you're good. If you just gave a shit at all, you could be really
He
good.
got paid like he's really good though. So
Yeah,
honestly, I wouldn't care. Like you're
I'm just saying from my standpoint, from
Yeah.
a fan standpoint, I want to see a better product out there. I don't want to see you being a CC Sabathia and being a fat ass strolling out to the mound because, hey, I got paid. I'm good.
I agree with you, but at the same time, looking at it from his side, if I can be the highest paid player in my sport to not care, I did something right.
Does Jay Cutler get he doesn't care because like he really doesn't care, or because of his face and because of that NFC Championship game against the Packers?
When he didn't play, when he had like a blown knee, right?
Yeah.
Which is
because he was like,
ridiculous.
"Nah, I'm trying to get these backup checks."
Yeah, word.
Like,
I mean, you have a torn knee ligament. It's annoying when all the fans are like, "Oh, you got to go out there." Like, let me see you go walk with the blown ACL.
like
Nonetheless,
like
play
LT
NFL
got
football.
It. LaDainian Tomlinson got it when he played in that one AFC Championship game against the Colts, and he just stayed on the sideline with his helmet on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did.
Yeah,
it,
I remember
he did
that.
It again. He did it again the year after against the Pats, and he got it
Like,
again. I mean,
you're gonna question that man?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not questioning LT. If he could play, he'd be out there.
Well,
that dude's not sitting on the sideline just because.
Cutler got the
I
heat
don't,
because
I don't
Phillip
feel
Rivers
good.
had the blown knee ligament too, and he played.
Well, yeah, Phil Rivers isn't taking hits like a running back.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking
Yeah,
about
you don't gotta-
Cutler.
you don't
Like
gotta
him
cut.
getting blasted for it, whereas Rivers played through it. So
Yeah.
The other part of that is it all depends on what type of torn ligament, which one it is. Is it completely torn? Is it partially torn? Because, like, if it's partially torn, you can still move around. But if that thing is completely gone, your leg is jello. You're not moving side to side at all.
yeah, I don't care.
Attempt
They
to,
give
and you're
you-
going down.
Yeah, I don't care
Philip
what pills they
Rivers
give you.
and Jay Cutler hate each other, so Rivers is going to do anything to upshill that guy, man. They're like Peter Griffin and the Chicken, dude. They'll fight on the spot.
Fight on sight.
Yeah, they do not like each other.
We could do an hour on Peter Griffin and the Chicken.
I saw some video on Twitter last night. I should have sent it to you guys. There's some massive chicken, and the tag on it was.
Yo, I saw that. I know
it said-
exactly what you're talking about already.
The tag was, "This is the chicken that Peter Griffin be fighting all the time." Yo, son, I swear this chicken was bigger than my kid. Like this chicken was
Yo,
massive, son.
he's not lying. He's not lying,
Massive.
dude.
It's nuts, and the whole time,
Like, it looked-
the whole time I'm watching it, thinking, "Man, I bet he got some good drumsticks."
Yeah.
You ain't
Like,
getting those
it honest to
drumsticks.
God, it looked like this chicken from the age of, like, when it hatched until it was 2 was just hooked up to a steroid IV drip. It was brolic.
He wishes you'd come touch his drumsticks. Put the beats on you with them
I'm
drumsticks.
gonna walk up and bite him.
No sleeping on the chicken.
All right, so back to this Brock Osweiler contract because I know that that Kev is going to want to get in on this part of it. What purpose do the Broncos have for signing Brock Osweiler? 1, you already got 2 quarterbacks. 2, have at it, Kev.
Well,
Talk about Elway.
Number 2 is
Strategic
Kev, I love
move.
it.
this is Elway. Just he's got some infatuation with this guy Osweiler, and I don't get it. So first, I ain't even blaming the Texans are kind of like his scapegoat here because he originally offered Osweiler $30 million. So this should have been his problem from the get go. But see, my thing is with Elway is I just think it's just another dumbass move that he's made. He has not done anything with that offense since he's become the general manager over there. Like, yeah, he brought on Peyton Manning, and then you didn't make it to the Super Bowl in year 1. You got your asses whooped in year 2. And then when you did win the Super Bowl, it was because of a defense that I think you were lucky to inherit, and it kind of like grew. Like Von Miller was his best pick back in 2011. If you look at John Elway's picks, like listen to these guys. Orlando Franklin, all right, whatever. Ronnie Hillman can't make it with the Cowboys. Then you have Brock Osweiler, Monty Ball, Michael Schofield, Cody Latimer, Jeff Heuerman, Ty Sambrayo, and then your boy Paxton Lynch, who was a first rounder. Who, if Trevor Siemian didn't beat him out, we'd be giving Elway a lot more heat for this Paxton Lynch fiasco over here. And just to give you this, a first round quarterback, not starting by year 2 since 2006. Brady Quinn, Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, and now your boy Paxton Lynch. All this guy does is pick busts, man. I mean, Paxton Lynch can't start, and you had Jamarcus starting, Mark Sanchez starting, Josh Freeman starting, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, Brandon Whedon, and McCoy's boy EJ Manuel. Elway, overrated, got a good defense, got lucky with Von Miller. Everything else he's done, overrated. That's what I got to say.
So didn't
So,
even,
Rich
like,
McCoy, does it
Manning-
make
Go ahead.
Does it make it, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, why do you go and sign him, though? If you already have Simeon and Paxton Lynch, like, I just don't understand why the Broncos went and got this dude at
Because
all.
Paxton's hurt.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder.
Is he any
so
good at
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
He's trying to hide that, man. Elway's GM career is very similar to his player career. Gets to the big game and then chokes, and then he needs some help to get to revive himself at the end. And that's what his defense is.
Even like the Manning signing though, like that was kind of luck more than him just going out and making a good move, right? Like it just everything
Oh, yeah,
worked out
100%.
perfectly for Manning to go there. Like what are the chances even like the Colts to let him go to begin with? It's like Now that's
Well,
just
we
a
got
lucky
that next
situation,
surgery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, 100%. That was all just kind of like destiny coming
everything
together,
fell
and that
into
was
place.
a perfect scenario for him at that spot. Yeah.
that offense was already built too. Demarius Thomas was there. The offensive line at that point was there. Julius Thomas was there. The only thing he added was Emmanuel Sanders, and I think Emmanuel Sanders is good, but I think there's probably like 8 other number 2 wide receivers you could have put next to DT. And
Yeah, I mean, there's
could have gotten the
8
same
other Emmanuel
results.
Sanders in the league.
Everything that he's done and put there, I mean, I think has been trash except for Von Miller, man. I mean, and I think he was. I mean, who's not going to pick him if you're in that position and you have that pick? Like, good job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not giving you credit for picking a fucking like that. That was the obvious pick there. That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah,
I
you don't
mean,
get
he's
credit
done,
for those.
He's done. I mean, and the guys that I named off were just his first or second round offensive draft picks. He's
The
got
guys who were supposed to make an impact pretty quickly.
He's got just as much of a laundry list of sucky defensive players as well that aren't even on the team anymore. So, I mean, he hasn't drafted anybody decent besides Von Miller. Shane Ray is okay, but he's starting the year on IR. And I'll give him credit. I like the offensive lineman he got in the first, this guy Garrett Bowles, because all he did was get kicked out of all his schools for whooping people's ass, and his his lacrosse coach had to help raise him, and now he's just a beast of an offensive lineman. But we'll see if it transitions to the NFL, because
Sounds like that could be a fun locker room with a character like that. Plus, you got Talib on the other side with the defense.
You don't want to play with Talib. Talib is the one person you don't play with in a lot Denver's locker room.
And everybody knows it too.
see, and like Talib Elway signed too, but like I'm not giving Elway the credit for that. Like there's already like some hype towards that team with good defensive players there, and like of course they're gonna wanna come play there. That wasn't Elway like going out and like strategically bringing him in. That was just the hype of the Broncos at that point in the defense
Yeah.
that he didn't build.
But he's pretty set with that job. Like they would really have to be
Well-
trash to like fire him just with his John
Yeah.
Elway, right?
Exactly, that's where I'm going with
Yeah.
it. I mean, if he was any other GM in the league,
He'd be on the hot seat.
yeah, and he's got that one ring, but
Yeah.
I mean, that team should have way more than one ring for
Yeah.
what, the hype and.
But I
the
think it's
surrounds
more
him.
than just the one ring. He's got 3 rings. for
two
that
as a
franchise.
player,
That's
so-
what they look at.
Oh, sure. I mean, he's God. It's like if Joe Namath should just be the general manager of the Jets. You know,
Yo, that would be so awesome.
Yes, he would. And he has to give interviews every day.
Please let Joe Willie be the GM.
Bring it in. I mean, it's already a shit show. I mean, you can't do any worse. Like, look, like that's another point. Like, he can't. Like, yeah, I'm shitting on Elway here, but Namath would do just as worth. They got a 7th rounder over there, and we're picking Hackenberg in the 2nd, and this guy can't even see the field. So, as much as I'm hating on what they got going over, as much as I got hate for Elway and what they got going on over there, they're still outdoing the Jets.
It seems
Yeah, they're at least getting in the playoffs and stuff.
yeah. It seems pretty common for GMs to suck, though. Honestly, like I feel like a lot of them make crappy moves.
Couldn't you argue, if it wasn't for all the Super Bowl losses, John Elway was the best quarterback ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, but those QB losses stain his resume so bad.
So
Not
then-
to me. I was just
Yeah,
as I
I
was
was
doing
about
my
to say.
research on this general manager topic. He just comes up. His name just kept coming up. Overrated quarterback. Overrated quarterback. I don't think so. I think he's overrated general manager, and his quarterback play is what is keeping him as a general manager.
Yeah, you know the owner loves some John Elway.
Half of those losses that he had weren't his fault. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so.
that's that whole rings culture. You know,
Exactly.
That's Kobe's fault.
Yeah, and the people that are saying he's an overrated quarterback, that's just hating.
Yeah, no. When I was
There's
trying
nothing.
to find.
There's nothing about the way that dude played and what he did on the field that was overrated.
I was trying to find stuff that supported my overrated GM argument, and I just kept finding all this overrated quarterback stuff, and I was like, that's what's keeping him alive is his non-overrated quarterback ass. That dude could have started for the Yankees too if he wanted to. He was nasty. He was a good athlete.
Yeah, he was out there on the diamond too, holding it down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, didn't
He
he
was-
was gonna go play.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna play for
He actually,
for what's football.
he actually did.
Refused to play for the Colts.
Yep. So
don't blame him.
they did a 30. They did a 30 for 30 on it because it was. It wasn't just about him. It was about that whole draft because that draft was just loaded.
Marino.
Marino, McCoy's boy Jim Kelly
Yeah.
got drafted by Buffalo and said, "Who would want to go play in Buffalo? I'm not going there." And went and played in the other league.
Did
Yeah,
he?
he did.
Um,
So then why'd he come back
But,
and play in Buffalo?
because the other league ended up
because
collapsing.
Donald Trump ran it.
Nah, the things tend to collapse that he runs, huh?
Shocker.
We're seeing it in
I hope
person.
not.
But yeah, he didn't want to play for the Colts, and he told him, "If you draft me," and Jim Irsay had just become the GM, and he said, "If you draft me, I'm not coming to play." And Irsay was like, "There's no way in hell that I couldn't draft this kid. Like I couldn't pass up on him." So he was literally going to go play for the Yankees, and things worked out. The owner finally stepped in, and they worked out the way they did, and he went to the Broncos. But he was like the originator of kind of forcing his way to where he wants to go, like what Eli Manning did with the Chargers and Giants.
Eli just couldn't play baseball.
Yeah. There was who was the other dude that played for the Yankees? Drew Henson
Yeah.
Yeah,
with the
Michigan
Cowboys
QB,
too.
The Michigan QB.
Yeah. Yep. He played for the Yankees, and then he was tried playing for the Cowboys too.
Yeah.
He
During the
He
Cowboys'
did that
nice run
shit.
of stellar QBs.
his indecisive ass
Tony Romo's
waited
next.
too long, and he sucked at both sports. Ended in the pros because he just waited way too long to just stick with one of them. It ended up.
Yeah.
It ended up kicking him in the ass on that one.
Yeah, if you're gonna make that move, you got to be decisive with it and just go with something. You know, you can't sit there and like waffle and go back and forth.
No, that's a choice you got to make in your early 20s and go with it.
Yeah,
He was
There are
behind. he was
there are
behind the
very
game.
few that are Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson that can go out there and do both at a very high level.
you think we'll ever see another player type like that can play both sports professionally at the same time?
Isn't there
Will
some
we
dude
ever?
now?
Probably. Will we ever? Probably. You know. who
Well,
the hell
I mean,
it's gonna
I'm
be, I
sure
don't know.
there's guys that can, like, that are capable of doing it right now.
Like, so Jameis Winston is one. Jameis Winston
be a
played
closer,
for
right?
FSU's baseball team. He was a closer for him, and he was good. He threw in the mid-90s.
Yeah, that's right,
So
he
if he
did.
really wanted to devote some time to baseball, he could have done both.
NFC South champs right there.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to that.
Well, you know my
but the
thing.
other
With the goats.
the other part of that, the other part of that though, McCoy, is that a lot of kids are kind of forced one way or the other by the time they get to
right.
college. So just kind of you don't go anywhere after that, especially skill position players. If you're a pitcher, making it to the major leagues takes so much time
Right.
Not
versus
Tim
if you're a
Tebow.
position player.
Not if you're Tim Tebow.
I don't see him on a pro team.
so,
I'm making my push.
so you don't think anything like it's like Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson like situation where that actually happens will
I
come
think-
around again?
I think it will, but I think those are like once in a generation type players.
Which is crazy because we had both of them in the early '90s, and
Yeah.
so it's
Yep.
crazy to get
Bo
two players
Jackson.
like that.
I saw a highlight video of him the other day, and it just said Bo's greatest highlights. So, okay, I'll watch this. 9 minutes of him just doing things that you can't imagine a human being being able to do in sports. It was amazing.
Yeah, that dude's unreal. I watched that. You guys ever watched that 30 for 30 on him?
I was about to say,
Oh,
he's like
yeah.
a real life Hawkeye, man, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yo,
a lot
my
cooler,
favorite story from that 30 for 30 is when his football coach from college is talking to them. Said, I was at the pool and I went to Bo and he was in about waist deep water. And I said, all right, Bo, time to go. We got to go hit the weight room or whatever it was. He said Bo just looked at him, just jumped up out of the water right onto the ledge of the friggin' pool.
Yes, he
From
did.
waist deep
That's
water.
insane.
That's like the stories you hear about, like Adrian Peterson. Like Bob Stoops said that,
Yeah.
you know those pyrometric boxes that go like 4 feet and you just try to stand there and jump? They said he would do it with 60-pound dumbbells in his hand. Like,
Doesn't
like,
even
get
make
the
any
fuck out of
sense,
here,
man.
AP.
You're carrying small children in your hands, jumping up, stuff like that.
Right.
Imagine just being at a pool and just watching someone just jump out.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I'd be scared.
It's like, what'd you just do, man?
that's like my pool is like my parents just waist deep. It'd just be like if I just hopped up on the deck from the pool, like, whoop, I'm out.
And apparently he did it effortlessly, like it was just an everyday
Yeah.
occurrence.
Oh, let's go.
It's just how he gets out of pools, man.
I would jump everywhere.
Word. I don't need a ladder.
I'd
I'm good.
never use the stairs at the pool ever again.
Stairs are for wimps.
I jump. Watch this.
Right? I would look at other people use the ladder and just jump and be like, oh.
Puny human.
Mortals.
Yeah.
All right, McCoy, you already started us off, so let's go into our NFC picks here. Go ahead and give us everybody except for the Bucks, as we already got them down for your South team.
That's right, go Bucks. Jameis about to be out here taking MVP, leading the Bucks to the Super Bowl.
Go Bucks.
So I just watched, caught up on that last Hard Knocks today, so I'm all ready for the new one tomorrow. But yeah, definitely. But the Falcons are gonna have the Super Bowl hangover here, and the Panthers don't seem to know what they're doing. So I'm gonna go Tampa in the South. Let's see. Then that NFC East, I'm gonna go with the Giants. I think their defense is gonna hold it down this year enough, keep Dallas in check, and the Giants are gonna win that division. And as long as Eli can stay on his feet, I think their offense is gonna have a huge year with those receivers. As long as Beckham can stay on the field. But he's going to play week 1, right? I don't see him not playing.
Yeah, I don't imagine that he's not going to play.
I haven't heard
He was-
anything since they said he might not play, but I think that was all just a story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just trying to get the Cowboys shook there. And with Elliott being, who knows what's going on? What's going on with Elliott? Like, is he playing? Is he not playing?
Well, so there was a 6-game suspension that was handed out, and then I guess new evidence has come to light. So the NFLPA filed a lawsuit against the NFL in federal court with a stay on the suspension, saying that they can't suspend him because there's now new evidence. So as of right now, he is on a roster, he is practicing, and until there's some type of ruling, he's playing.
So
It's
is
like
it going to
the
be
Tom
like Tom
Brady
Brady,
shit.
right? So he's going to get suspended next year. Which ain't a bad move for Dallas, honestly.
No, and you know what? With his situation, just quickly, he may be able to actually beat this, unlike with Tom Brady, because the new evidence that's come up is the NFL, or this last year and 3 months or whatever they were investigating him, had a woman that was the lead investigator. She interviewed the girl that accused him of hitting her. She interviewed everybody that had to do with this. Her report back to Roger Goodell said no suspension should be levied against Elliott at all.
Yeah.
And then he just decided to throw 6 games at him. Now, I don't know what actually happened in that situation. It's a very gray situation. But how can you have a lead investigator say 0 and then Goodell say 6? So he may actually have a case when they get to federal court
Because
there.
Roger is trash, that's why.
Yep.
He's garbage.
Yep.
He's got to get up out of here to begin with. So let's see. NFC North, I'm going to go with the Packers just because I know they have Aaron Rodgers. So I really don't see any other team in that division beating Aaron Rodgers. Stafford, who else they have? Stafford's in that division. Bradford.
I mean, the Vikings won that division last year.
Did they?
Highest paid quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I know, which is crazy.
Highest paid player ever.
Well,
That
this
is
is
insane.
Like,
Nah, the Packers came in that last game and ended up winning the division.
yeah.
Did they?
Good.
Yeah.
Packers
then so
taking
then-
it again this year.
The Vikings were the wild card?
So who else? The Bears have Glennon. The Vikings have Bradford, and the Lions have Stafford. So I'm going to take
Who
Aaron
just got
Rodgers.
paid,
Yeah.
highest quarterback, highest paid player in the NFL.
I'm going with Rodgers and Montgomery in that one because that dude's all over the place. I thought,
Kev, you just pulled a me.
yeah, he did.
Oh, I'm just throwing it out there again. I heard you guys.
Yeah. So what's the last one? The West, right?
The West,
I'm gonna go
yeah.
Seattle again in that one. They got it on lock out there. You know, that defense is too good, and then Wilson is gonna be scrambling and doing his thing, making plays. So
All right, who do you have coming out of the NFC going to the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna stay hard on the Tampa Bucks bandwagon right here.
Wow.
We out here. Jameis slinging. Jameis to Evans hitting Jackson deep too. Let's go Bucks. We out here.
All right, Rich, you go ahead and take it next, buddy.
All right, so me and the people,
The people.
we're going with the Giants. 59% of us to win the NFC East. Sure, like whatever. 39% of people are rocking with the Falcons in the South.
Ooh.
And that was the highest percentage?
Yeah, I mean the South seems close, and
No love for
I don't really
Jameis?
believe. I don't believe in like the hangover stuff. I kind of believe like you get over shit and like it doesn't mean that much. But that Super Bowl loss,
That's
like, I can
tough.
see that affecting this season.
Yeah,
you know?
that's tough to get over,
Like,
man. They had
that's
that
rough.
one.
Yeah. So
Like, they're still making commercials about it.
Yeah,
They're
I
going to
guess
talk
they
about that all
replayed
the time.
Yeah, I guess they just replayed it on NFL Network today. And I saw a Carolina Panther jersey that said Atlanta led by
Yep.
number 25. Like,
Yep.
everyone in that division is going to get on them for
The
it.
Saints been clowning them too, so.
Yeah, like, it's just, they're going to have to deal with
Mm-hmm.
it. The Seahawks are winning the West with 58% of the votes. I mean, I don't see who could beat them in the West anyway. I mean, who is it?
Yeah,
The 49ers.
the Rams.
49ers, the
are
The
Rams.
Cardinals. The Cardinals good.
Yeah, yeah. Is Carson Palmer still their quarterback?
He is.
Yeah.
Thought he got hurt.
He did, but he'll probably get hurt again, you know.
Nah, he never gets hurt.
Nah.
Wish they would talk.
Never.
In the NFC North, 63% of the people picked the Packers. So
Wow.
I don't have a problem rolling with Aaron Rodgers. If you're interested, actually, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, ESPN's Mina Kimes did a really good profile of Aaron Rodgers. She sat down and had an interview with him, and he talked about how one of the most interesting things that I've heard a quarterback say is that after he won the Super Bowl, he sat on the bus and he listened to all of his teammates like be pumped and talk about how they just won the Super Bowl and how they excited they were, and he looked around and thought, I hope this isn't all I do with my life. So it's really good if you want to read it. I'll tweet it out. Mina Kimes wrote it. She's really good.
Did he have the mustache in the interview?
I don't
Was he
know.
rocking the
I
sweet
know-
mustache?
I know she said it was weird because most of the time when she asks people to do interviews, they like want to meet at like a neutral site, but he decided to go to her apartment and he was just hanging out at her apartment and he just sat down and like he really opened up. Like he talked about his family and why they don't talk. He talked about how
That's a weird situation. I've read a little bit about that.
Wasn't his brother on The Bachelor?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I'm an avid fan of. The Bachelor, it's a great show, but that dude's a clown.
Clowns.
But he talked about that a little bit. Well, he didn't. He talked about how he doesn't talk about it, and he talked about how basically his religion changed. Like he grew up in a really strict like Christian home, and then as he got older and exposed to more lifestyles and stuff, it really changed his view on the world. So it's really good if you want to check it out. And all right, so those are the divisions. And 36% of the people said that Green Bay was going to go to the Super Bowl against Oakland for me, and 59% of the people said they would win it. So I'm riding with the Packers all
Packers?
year long. Yeah.
McCoy, we didn't get your Super Bowl pick, actually.
Oh yeah, we did.
All
we
right,
didn't
Bucks.
get the-
Bucks versus Patriots.
Bucks, and you're taking the
I'm
Bucks to
going
beat
with
the Pats?
Jameis. Let's go,
He's
Jameis.
busting rhymes before the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I love that shit on Hard Knocks.
God, I'm dying.
All right, Kev, you go next, man.
All right, so picks are pretty similar across the board here. I got Giants here in the East. They haven't won the division since 2011, so I'm gonna say they're gonna come through with the division, and their big game of the year, Thanksgiving night, they're gonna go in and whoop Washington. So then we'll move to the north. I'm rolling with the Pack Attack and Aaron Rodgers. He was just at Zach Decker's house fixing the kitchen sink. So like Rich says, he's a very interesting guy. He's all over the place doing everything.
I saw that.
They're gonna repeat. They've won the division 5 out of the last 6 years, and their big game, week 2 at Atlanta, repeated the NFC Championship game. So that'll be a good one to see. Yeah, Seahawks in the West. I don't think Arizona has the offense to keep up. Just in general, not even with Seattle, but I think it's David Johnson or bust. I think Larry Fitzgerald is old. I think Seahawks are gonna take that. They're gonna they got a big game at Arizona week 10. Those two teams haven't swept each other since 2010, so it'll be interesting to see what happens between the two of them. And then McCoy, I'm rolling with Tampa Bay in the South.
Yeah.
They
Bad
haven't won the
legs.
division since 2007. It's been Panthers, Falcons. I don't think they. I think what do you call it? Losing Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, is going to hurt Matt Ryan. His best year last year with him. Shanahan is kind of like a quarterback doctor. He's gone. I don't think Matt Ryan will do as good. And Week 5 could be a preview. The Bucks are at home against the Pats, so let's see what happens.
Yeah,
But,
there we go. Super Bowl preview right there. You heard it
for
here
you,
first.
for you, I'm
That's
going
right.
with. I'm going with. I'm more along with the people. I'm going. I want to, and what I want to see. I really want to see Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady before Brady, that bastard, retires. So. But let's go Pack. I'm going to pick the Packers to beat the original number 12, Tom Brady. So Packers, Super Bowl champions. I'm with the people too, Rich.
That's right.
That bastard Tom Brady's never going to retire.
You better hope so.
Yeah.
He's not going to. I want him to, but he's going to
Yeah.
be out there 60 winning Super Bowls still.
Yo, when he retires, that division is gonna be so awful.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst division
Yeah.
in the league.
Oh, absolutely. I had my fantasy draft today, and I picked up the Patriots defense, even though the Texans were out there and the Broncos were out there, and everybody was like, why? Because they probably just single-handedly won me 6 weeks when they go against the Bills, the Jets, and the
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Easy 6 wins.
Going to have at least 2 or 3 picks in those games.
Yep. Easy. Especially because the Bills, Tyrod might not even play Week 1. So the Jets might get a
still
win
hurt.
right there.
Yeah, see, it starts already.
Yeah. Can't even lose
So they're
right.
not getting a win.
All right, my picks are similar with the West and the North. I think that's pretty easy with Seattle out West. There's nobody going to compete with them for every reason you guys listed. They're old. I think the Cardinals' window was 2 years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl, or was it 3 years ago?
Cardinals, they made it in like 08.
Yeah, word.
No. What was it, the NFC Championship game that they
Probably.
blew then recently?
Yeah, they haven't made the Super Bowl in a minute.
Yeah, but either way, I think they're past their window. The Packers have dominated the North. I think the Vikings will give them a run for their money, but I like the pickup for Green Bay with Martellus Bennett. Aaron Rodgers loves to throw to his tight ends, and he really hasn't had a very good one. Jermichael Finley was okay, but he never really lived up to the hype, so I think the Packers will stay winning with the North. I'm going to go with the Panthers in the South. I think they're going to rebound and get back to not what they were with the Super Bowl, but they're going to be close. Christian McCaffrey gives them a dynamic out of the backfield that they haven't had before, where they can spread the ball out a little bit, maybe not have so many design runs for Cam. The defense will be the question mark for them. Can they stop people from passing the ball? Can they stop Denorius from tearing them up at 300 yards against them last year?
Can't stop Jameis.
We'll see. And then in the East, I kind of went back and forth on this one. I was with you guys with the Giants most of the day, mainly because of their offense. But as far as winning the division, I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think they're going to be able to win the division again. But I do think the Giants will sneak in and get into the playoffs. And I tried not to do this, but I got the Giants winning the NFC and going to the Super Bowl against the Raiders. I hate the Giants. You guys know that as a Jets fan. But with that offense, with Odell Beckham and Brandon Marshall out there, the running back that they got last year, it was a 5th-round pick. Was it Perkins, yeah. I think he can continue to build on what he did. Eli somehow finds a way to stay healthy and stay upright most of the time. And I think that defense for the Giants, especially the defensive line, has improved enough that they should be able to outscore opponents. I don't know that they're going to shut them down, but they'll outscore them. So I'm taking offense versus offense, Raiders and Giants, and I'm going to go with the Raiders winning the Super Bowl.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
And then they're moving to Vegas. These still do
Yeah, I
one
think
solid before they go for Oakland.
I think Beast Mode really gives them a stabilizing factor on offense that they haven't had the last couple of years.
Yeah, right, because you have to respect their running game now. Well,
Yeah, and I mean their running game in the past was good with Latavius
Yeah.
Murray. He was a
was
solid.
solid
running back, but he wasn't putting
real
any
solid.
fear in you or anything. You're not bringing extra guys in the box for him.
He ain't beast mode.
no.
No, not at all. All right, we're going to get to our 4 corners. I'm going to do the first one just because mine has to do with football, so we'll stick with the topic. Fantasy football. Everybody's got their drafts. At least most people have their drafts this week. If you had it before this, that was kind of foolish. Wait and see what the injuries are and stuff. But fantasy football coming up. I love fantasy football. we've had a league going with us and 6 of our friends for, what has it been, a decade now, guys?
This is year 9.
Who won that the
Year
last 2
9 now?
years?
Auto draft?
Auto draft is still a win.
Auto draft? But I get excited for fantasy football. I know that, Rich, you said that before you've kind of fallen off a little bit, but I really like it. It gets me into every single game. It gives me a reason to watch, gives me a reason to root for people, and more importantly, you guys know this, I need a villain. I need somebody to root against. So if I have a player on another team, that gives me something to root for in the game. Where do you guys stand on fantasy football this far into to where it's gotten?
It's crazy, dude. I mean, the ESPN does what, like a 28, 30-hour show to kick fantasy football off, and they show how many people have fantasy teams now, and there's, what, I don't even know, like 30, 40 million fantasy teams
it's
that are
absurd.
created now.
See,
like, it's out there, man.
all that kind of stuff, like 28-hour marathon shows. I don't care about any of that. I'm not trying to listen to these analysts talk about different players and who I should pick up and put in different PPR and flex leagues. No, I don't care about that. I just like the part where it gives me a reason to root during the game, and I like competing with you guys because we talk shit all the time.
Well, yeah, as a Jets fan, it definitely perks my football interest.
Yeah, otherwise I'd have no reason to watch football this season.
And I like it because there's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of trash talking amongst friends.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to draft in like 3 minutes in a money league, but I'm sure I'll talk more shit with you guys that we don't even have a single penny on the line.
Have you decided who you're taking with that top pick?
I'm gonna snag David Johnson. I just think, like
Yeah.
I said, I think he's the ultimate running back right now, and he's on a team that, I think, his separation and like the just offensive caliber on his team, it's him, and then you have old Larry Fitzgerald. You know what I mean? There's no one else of his caliber on that team.
And as a running back, he's really one of the only ones that can both run the ball and catch the ball out of the
He had 80
backfield.
catches last year, and this league is PPR, so that's points right
Oh,
there. for him.
that's money for you right there. Rich, McCoy, where do you guys fall on fantasy football these days?
I'm good taking these wins, but honestly, I could really care less about it. I'm not really excited to do it. I know I'm going to stop paying attention to it at some point, but I don't know, I'm over it.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of things going on with this year in this fantasy. Like, I want to do it because it's like our league, and I don't want to be the guy that like doesn't do it. It makes it all messed up. But I got some other reasons why I don't really want to do it besides like just not wanting to pay attention to football that much. But yeah, it's fun. Like, I know if I do it, like, I want to win because that's just how I am.
Of course.
I don't know. It's just a weird thing for me.
It's something
Where'd
to
you
do
guys
with
get
you
to the
guys,
point-
so it's fine.
Yeah, where did you guys get to the point where you weren't really into it as much anymore? Was it because it just got so big, or it just kind of lost its luster over the years?
Within the last
honestly-
2 seasons for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, my reasons for not wanting to do it aren't really something I want to like get into on here. But it's not that I don't like doing it. It's just that I don't know. I just kind of lost it a little bit. So, like, it's fun. Like, I like putting teams together. I like moving people around. I like making
The
trades.
GM part of it, yeah.
Like, I love that part, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Enough said, Richard.
Yeah.
All right, Kev, go ahead. You take your corner, man.
So I'll feed off football here a little bit. I don't have anything real big. I'm just gonna,
Football.
coming into this big kickoff, I know everybody's excited about NFL. We got the Thursday night game. We got a slew of games on Sunday, 2 Monday night games. Well, I'm here to shit on your parade. There's 3 terrible quarterback matchups, and one now with McCoy's boy Tyrod Taylor on the concussion protocol. We're looking at McCown versus Nate Peterman for the Jets-Bills.
Who the
We're
fuck is
looking
Nate
at
Peterman?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Then we're looking at Blake Bortles versus Savage in the Jacksonville Texans game. And now with Andrew Luck hurt and not starting week 1. We have Jared Goff, who is getting very close to bust potential, versus Scott Tolzien. So NFL, get your shit together and start developing some quarterbacks, because your league relies on QBs, and that's not even saying the matchups like the Panthers and the Niners. I mean, you have Cam Newton on one side, and you have, I think, Hoyer on the other side. So there's a lot of lopsided matchups on the schedule too. Just wanted to point out that going into, everybody's excited for kickoff, but there's some real shitty QBs out there.
The first few games are always trash, though.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be even worse, man.
Osweiler gets paid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. That's my four corners. You guys don't even have to chime in. I'm just letting you know.
Better get ready for some garbage football.
Just laying it
Some
down.
shitty QB play this Sunday.
That's funny.
Rich, McCoy, when do you guys want to go first? Doesn't matter.
Anthony.
All right, I want to talk about this just because I found it entertaining. I think you guys are going to feel the same way as I do about it in the end. But I want to talk about this Lonzo Ball situation when he made these comments about Nas.
I was going to talk about that.
All right, so here we go. We'll talk.
No, you should have gone
We'll-
first.
We'll have a big chat about it. So basically, did you guys, Kevin, Kyle, did you guys see this?
I did see the tweet where he said nobody listens
Yeah,
to
he
Nas
said
anymore.
Nas is
Nas isn't
outdated.
rap.
He's irrelevant, basically, and Migos and Future are hip hop right now. I think it's ridiculous that everybody's trying to get on a 20-year-old kid for not liking a rapper that debuted 20 years ago. But like now, like T.I. hopped in with a comment saying he's ridiculous. Little B was out here saying he was going to curse him for saying, disrespecting Nas.
Curse him.
He was going to get him with the
That's the
curse,
best thing
man.
I've heard.
In a game.
Put a hex on
In a
you.
game.
You gave it to KD.
Yeah, right? KD had it. So, and then I guess Nas's manager came out and said Nas never heard of him and was calling him oatmeal face and all this stuff, getting at him.
Yo, I saw that and I was like, yeah.
So
Oatmeal thing.
Yeah, that's classic.
it was just funny to me how outraged people were that this kid doesn't, obviously he's not going to think Nas is the best rapper out. He wasn't even
It's-
born when Nas started rapping. Like,
It's because it's LeVar Ball's son. If it was anybody else, they would have just dismissed the comment. It wouldn't even
well,
made
that's
any
what I'm
news.
here for. LeVar coming out and getting on these dudes.
But, and honestly, I know the rapper Vince Staples says stuff about old rappers all the time, and people lose their mind. Like, they expect these young 20-year-old kids to, like, worship these rappers that we grew up with. And it's like, you need to chill. Like, it's kind of like last week when I was talking about, like,
I was just going to say that.
the 90s
Oh, yeah, that's the
basketball.
first thing I thought
Like,
of.
it's like,
Yeah.
yo, like, these kids aren't going to go back and listen to albums from 20 years ago unless they really love it. Like,
I mean,
wasn't
there's
going back
there's some
listening
of them that they'll
Grandmaster
listen to.
Flash and them. Like, I didn't give a damn
Yeah,
about them.
Exactly. They
It's
weren't
a
even alive
different.
when
It's a
these dudes
different
came
time
out.
of year. It's a different time, so the music is different.
Yeah, these kids weren't even he wasn't even alive when when Illmatic came out. So
Yeah, like
What
I
do you
don't listen to
expect?
I don't listen to most hip hop anymore because I think it's complete trash.
And because for me, it feels weird to ride around with two kids. And
Yeah,
have
you don't
songs
need to be
playing,
bumping that.
And like they're talking about like popping Molly, getting girls. It's like, man, I'm 31 with kids. I ain't doing none of this.
well, that's like Future though.
Yeah,
Let's
you
know
don't-
that.
You don't need to drive around saying I can't feel my face without you.
I just thought it
Oh, I
was
like the
funny.
weekend though. I'm in on the weekend.
I thought it was funny too though because it made me think of like the Takeover and the Blueprint 2 Hove had when he was basically saying Nas was irrelevant before he dissed him. And I'm like, man, this dude every 10 years is catching a diss getting called irrelevant by somebody.
Did you see
He's
Lonzo
still sticking
rap
around,
at his
though?
brother's party?
Huh?
Did you see Lonzo rap at his brother's party?
I didn't hear it. I saw his brother
I
pulling
saw
up in that Lambo to the party though. Must be nice.
Yo,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, LaMelo is the coolest one. The one that's in high school right now is the coolest one. He's the funniest. He acts the wildest.
Of course it
Yeah,
is.
was he the one who
Got the
his
shoe,
dad
that's
just
it.
ruined his college career?
Nah,
Yeah, he's
he
the one
don't
with
need that. Did you saw
He's
he
the
saw
one
what
with
he
the
could
hair
do?
that you don't like.
Yeah,
He
the
could-
one who's not going to college anymore.
Yeah, because
No, he could go to college.
No,
could
he
be
ain't
a-
going.
He could be a walk-on. I already heard.
He can't
He's not
play.
going to be eligible
No.
though.
Only if he
he
gets
just-
a scholarship. He could be
No.
a walk-on and take out a loan. They were
Really?
talking about this right before
No.
I got on here. Go check it out.
No, you can't be a walk-on. That don't matter. You're still playing.
Not only if you get a full ride scholarship, he can go take out a personal loan and be a walk-on there, and the NCAA can't touch him. They can try and bend some rules, but there'll be some
There is
real
something
hypocrites.
wrong with that, Kev, because if that were a rule, John Calipari would be out there with 20 walk-ons on his team,
Gotcha,
and they'd be
gotcha.
riding around in Benzes and shit.
Yeah, word.
I caught Stephen A. blabbing on about it before I hopped on here.
I don't give a shit
Oh,
what
really?
Stephen A. has to say.
So
Hey, I
why?
heard you saw Cleveland, right?
So what's the point of that though? Like that's kind of crazy.
Supposedly he could be a walk-on. I heard he could be a walk-on and he could pay for school on his own, take out a personal loan, and the NCAA can't do shit about that because there's no free money. There's nothing being given to him.
Because he's paying it back. Yeah. It's a loan,
And
yeah.
he went through tryouts and earned his way on the team.
So it would kind of then be like
Air quotes.
it'll kind of be like the USC situation then, where USC got DeMar DeRozan and had to take Master P's son, right? They kind of like some
Oh,
shady,
that was DeMar DeRozan
yeah,
connected to
some
him,
shady
wasn't
stuff like that then, right?
It? Oh.
Yep. Yeah, DeMar
That's why
DeRozan and him
DeMar
are
DeRozan.
boys.
Yeah. Oh man. Make him say,
So that's
But there's something that the NCAA could counteract and like be the dickheads that they are.
which I'm sure
But
they
it-
will.
But it would. I mean, obviously they don't care, but it's going to make them look like complete hypocrites even more than they already are. But that's the angle that he's playing. That's what I heard anyway.
I mean, that would be a complete sham, though. If like he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I was a walk-on." It's like, come on, son.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah, like that shit would change the game. Like all other coaches are going to start using that loophole so they can start finding ways to
Yeah,
give
but
kids
I
shit
think
and get
For
them to
Roy
go there.
Williams.
Boy
I
Williams
think
is
the
winning
thing
championships,
is though,
though.
it's like
Honestly, Rich, Roy would never do that shit.
I know.
We still winning
He should've got
championships,
into
though.
Roy Williams and his lackluster recruiting.
LaMelo and
What?
his family
Not
got the
lackluster
money
playing,
to
though.
go take that loan out though.
Yeah, his brother will just pay for him, or LeVar. Like, big ballers, they ain't worried about the price tag.
The
Triple
dudes
Bs.
that Cal's bringing on, they ain't got no credit, man.
Well, the thing is, if that happens, then Nike and these shoe companies are going to start recruiting signing high school kids, basically. So that's going to
Yeah.
change everything.
Which they essentially do already.
Yeah, but it's not like straight
Like
out.
there's already ways where like through the AAU circuit, certain sponsors run them, and they kind of funnel kids towards schools that they have relationships with. So it's already starting to happen. This may just be the next step. You know what? Good. Now that I'm thinking about this, I like it because it may push towards the point where we finally see kids getting paid in college to play.
LeVar Ball.
Changing the game.
Changing the game.
Changing the game. That's the big baller way.
Yo, it was mad funny. They asked him
Impact
about it. He's like,
player.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it was.
That's exactly why I hope he starts getting on these dudes trying to clown Lonzo for the Nas thing, because he'll just start letting them know.
Oh, I'm sure if somebody asks him about it, he will.
Someone needs to.
All right, Rich, go ahead and finish this off.
Well, McCoy took mine. But I guess if I just have a few minutes, I guess I could shout out someone that we follow on Twitter, and he follows us back. Bulls Scripted. He does a lot of good Bulls stuff. He's up and coming.
Go Bulls.
He actually
Yeah.
wrote a blog recently about how people need to not be down on your boy Laurie.
I'm down.
Not too bad.
I'm down.
I'm
and
down.
and how he's doing really well in the whatever championships are going on right now.
The Euro Championships, I think
the
it
Euro
is.
championships. He's put up a screenshot, and his numbers 27 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and he's plus 27 while he's on the court.
That's
Like,
cool, but like you said last week, like he's playing Russia and these clown teams, so I need to see it. Like I'm happy with the numbers. Like you're playing your competition. It's kind of like the summer league thing, but like I need to see him do it against NBA talent.
I agree with you, but I also think that the NBA is closer to FIBA now than it's ever been.
That's true.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
Like,
But
like you didn't make a good trade because you didn't have to give up the pick. You know what I mean?
and that's why
That's-
I don't like
right,
him right
that's-
now.
that's what-
Like it has nothing to do with him, but you're replacing Jimmy Butler. I'm sorry. Until I see that,
Yeah.
you got hate coming your way.
Yeah, he's
But
got
if
to
you're a
show
Bulls
improve.
fan and you want to get like non-biased information, just check out @Bulls Scripted. He does a pretty good job.
They were saying
right, guys.
Lori was a lot like they're comparing him to Dirk, so I'm here for that. If that's gonna happen.
Yo,
shit.
I mean, if that happens, if he turns into that, then I'll love the
Yeah.
dude. Like, oh yeah, but
Real quick
Haven't
before
seen
we
it happen
sign
yet.
off, in their prime, who do you want, Dirk or D Wade?
That's a hard question to throw at me on the spot.
Just real quick.
Dirk.
I'm taking Dirk because of the size.
yeah.
Kev,
I don't know. I might take D Wade though.
Kev,
I'm taking the Flash.
I think I'm going D Wade too, but it's close.
It
is.
is.
That's a-
I
that's a
love
good
Dirk.
question.
And I
That's a
love
tough
Dirk, dude. I love Dirk, but I'm just
All
thinking
right, I got another one
young
real
Flash.
quick. Dirk or Melo?
Dirk,
Dirk because he won himself a ring.
he wins. Yeah.
This is that.
Melo never-
This
Let's
is
not
that
say he wins. He won.
All right, he won.
That's all
He
it
won.
takes. No, still one more than Melo. Still one more than Melo.
Yeah,
Kev,
knowing what
Dirk
I
or Melo?
know, I'm going Dirk.
All right, I think I'm going Melo.
And that's
let's see if
another
you
one.
could-
I love Mello too. But
My thing.
If you
my
could,
thing
if
with
this was a
that-
video game and I was picking Olympic Melo like we talked about, then I'll
Hoodie
take
Melo.
him.
Hey man, Melo in Denver.
Hootie Melo.
that's what I was gonna say. Cornrow Nuggets Mello.
My only
Man.
thing with that one though is like Dirk went on that beast finals run to get himself a ring, and Melo never did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like
I mean,
Dirk
I-
beat a soft team in the finals. He beat Super Team Miami. You know.
Hey, I get it, but I mean, I'm ranking. Just let the people that listen know I'm ranking the top 17 NBA champions that we've had since 2000 to 17, like to right now to last year, and it's not easy. So
Hit us up on Twitter with your thoughts.
That Dallas team is it might be in the top 10. I'm up to like 7 right now, and it might get in there. So
You're gonna do 17.
I'm gonna do all 17.
All right. Well, so everybody check that out. If you're not following us, it's at the Fellas Podcast on Twitter. You can check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, whichever one you want to listen to us on. But whenever Rich does get that up, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about it here because I'm sure that we'll have some thoughts on it. And if you guys have any opinions to try and sway him towards your favorite team, go ahead and send the tweets right at the Fellas Podcast. He's usually in control there. So we appreciate it. We are going to sign off, and we'll see you again next week. We're out.
Peace.